Hello everybody and welcome to the August 2022 update from Clydebridge station. Some changes this month. I was originally going to do some work here, replacing this with the scale model scenery version, and I was also going to put the fence up here, but that's changed. Because it's still quite hot weather, I'm actually going to use the time to change this instead. More about that in a minute. Because the area is going to get reballasted and warmer weather means it should dry quicker. We'll also be taking a bit more look at these two new arrivals that I mentioned to you last month, both Lima machines, 47712, 47569, both in the Parcels red and grey livery. And I'll be giving some shout outs during the programme to other layouts and to other people. So we'll start off by explaining what's going to happen here. And what might not be apparent right now when you look at it here is that the track here and here are quite close together, and that has meant that if I've got something parked in this road here, platform 4, it means that it's very tight when another loco in stock comes into platform 5. So tight that I cannot get the sleeper carriage in here if there's something in platform 4 just rub against it. The track spacing here is from the days when I had my own platforms built before I made these ones from scale model scenery. So as part of what I can only call a mammoth engineering project, this track in platform 4 and the ballast around it is going to get taken up. This curve here is going to get taken out, and I've got two new bits of flexi track, and it's a Pico streamline. Now there is more than enough track here to do the job, because if I lean that one up about there, something like that, and then put the second one on, you can see how the second one is going to stretch all the way into the distance. So there's more than enough track here, and inevitably there's going to be some disruption. It means that I won't be able to run trains for a few days. So this old track will be getting taken up and binned, and the new flexi track will start here, and the curve will come out a bit more, and I'm reckoning on it about here is where I want it to be. So just get my bit of flexi track in again. The curve this time is actually going to be coming out a little bit wider and then coming in a bit. It's either that or see, doing it that way would never work, because I'd still, see, if I put it there and just replace this road, I would never be able to do it, because obviously the track itself, as you could see here, we'd have to have quite a sharp curve. That's not possible. So it's easier to do platform 4 and just swing it in that way. Obviously once I've got the new cork down, I'll put the track down, and before I pin it down I will check for the spacing. But just to show you where I'm going to be putting the new track, it's going to be something more akin to there, and that means that there'll be a slight curve here before it goes round. So that's the plan. This bit and this bit here are going to come up too, and I've actually now got the correct ballast, which is here, to put down here. That ballast won't go down until I've got the next bit of the scale model scenery walkways done. That bit's coming up because obviously I'll need a new bit in there. No, I won't. That bit stays. It's actually that bit comes up. Oh, just ignore me. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take up the track, and then I'm going to take up all the ballast and the cork. And I'm fortunate that I haven't got ballast here at the moment, so it's slightly less to do, and I hope that I've got enough ballast to do this whole job with, otherwise I'm going to be going to my local model shop on Monday to get another bag on the way home from work. So that's the plan, and as I say, we'll get on with that. So it basically means, first of all, this and this will have to come off. And what I'm going to do, just for safety's sake, they're just going to stay on the platform now, so they're within easy reach. And then we'll get the track up. That'll be done off camera, and then we'll have a look and see where we are. And you'll also notice, and I'll say, that I've cleared these 3 platforms, and I've took the locomotive that was sitting there, because obviously this bit's got to come up too. And this bit will come up as well. That's going to get taken out and replaced too. That looks rubbish. I mean, it really is just utter rubbish. Signal will remain, but I'll have to temporarily move it. And then this is all going to come up as well. It won't matter if I damage any of that now, because obviously, to let you understand, that's getting replaced anyway in here. So that's what the plan is. So I'm going to crack on and make a start at taking up the track. It's pinned down, not using copy decks. The new track will be pinned down as well once I'm satisfied with where it is. Well, that took just under half an hour, and it's still not all done. The track's up now. I'm looking at this cork, and I might actually be okay with the track going onto the old cork. I might be okay. I'm going to have to wait and see. What I do need to do is get my hoover down, hoover up the loose ballast, and you can see this ballast went all over the place. That'll get hoovered up through time, but I'll have to hoover up the old ballast first, and then take out some more ballast where the track's going to be getting moved across. And then what I'll have to try and do is also take this up. I'm told that by putting just water into here and letting it set for a bit, it should actually remove it. And I'll do the same for this bit here too, and then we should hopefully get that removed. And if I can do that, what I'll at least do is that these bits will actually be ready. As you can see, I've still got some of the old pins in place from where the track was previously. So what I'm going to be doing isn't going to be easy, but I'll say at least that's the first stage done, is getting the track up. That, as I say, took just under half an hour. It was a bit frustrating, so you always take your time with these things. So I'll try and go and get the hoover, get some out hoovered up, and then we'll see where we are from there and see how much we've got to do. But I'll say that's the sort of line I'm actually going to be taking now. You can see it's going to be something like that. It's going to get moved across a bit. Another change of plan. This video is all about changes, isn't it? What I've done is I've put water down, and this is an idea I got from a video by Everard Junction where he had to make changes to part of his layout. And apparently this is meant to undo the glue so you can take the stuff off. So we're going to try it and see if that does the trick. And obviously I'll have to get all of this up as well. Now I bought cork, and I'm already looking at this cork, and this cork might actually be okay. As I say, it's really just in the station area, and it's going to be slow moving. This is going to be the awkward bit here. So I'm going to make the clearance for that, and I have a way I could do this. And that's to take this up, cut the angle a bit more, and then put it back on so it comes at another angle, but and shorten the platform a little bit. That's one way I could get around that. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because obviously that'll depend upon whether the track will fit. So we're going to leave that to dry, and whilst that's drying, we'll go and talk about the 2 new arrivals. So I can't run these at the moment because we're doing track work, but these are the 2 new arrivals. In the shed, 47569, the Gloucestershire Regiment. Standing outside the shed, 47712, Lady Diana Spencer. Both these machines are Lima toolings, and both, as you see, carry the Parcels red livery. And it means that I've now got 3 locomotives on the layout in the Parcels red livery, and in fact it means that I've got 17 class 47s now. 47712 was bought off eBay and was already hardwired for DCC. It had the chip installed, the conversion work done. Scooney Hobbies at Kirkcaldy done 47569. It was not DCC ready, so they done that for me. Lima models were like Hornby models in the 80s and 90s, where a push-pull one didn't have any of the jumper cables on. I've got a model of 47716 Duke of Edinburgh's Award, which won't be able to run on the layout because it's not a DCC and it doesn't have the jumper cables. I was very fortunate that somebody on the Railway Modelers Club, linked to that in the description below, had a spare set of jumper cables and actually gave me them free of charge, and I really appreciate that. It was fantastic. Thank you very much to that person. And I've got them stuck on there and there. How they got stuck on? Well, a little bit of Yoo-hoo glue on a cocktail stick, spread it around them, put it on, hold it for a few seconds. So that was that. And there. So she's now got her jumper cables. They're not quite in the correct place, but it saved me faff about moving the warning flashes. The other thing about 47712 that you'll maybe notice here is that she doesn't have the Network South East flashes on her. This is how she was when she came out of Doncaster Works in January 1991 after being released from her ScotRail duties. She just simply initially carried this livery. It was only later on in 1991 or early 92 that she was put on loan to the NWRA pool at Old Common and gained the flashes under there, and I believe they were on the cab end as well. This locomotive still exists, the real one, and it carries the blue striped ScotRail livery again. Hornby are releasing a model later this year of her, and I've already discussed that in a previous video. Before we actually talk about the next locomotive, let's give you a few shout outs. So we'll start off with Warphampton, an N gauge layout set in the Network South East area. And we'll also give a shout out to West Blythe MPD, which is set in Northumberland in the BR Blue era. And they're both here on YouTube. Somebody else who's on YouTube, and I'll put the link to his Instagram in the description below, is Sam McLaughlin, an unsigned singer-songwriter, guitarist from the Northwich, Liverpool area. He's actually got a single that came out called Our Society, and his debut album is Iced Coffee at Midnight. So if you check out Sam, please, he's quite a good singer, and I think you'll like this tune, Our Society. Hiding in the shed here is 47569, the Gloucestershire Regiment. She too carries the Parcels red livery, and you can see there's a slight difference between 712 and 569. The cab is a lot more plasticky looking, and it's got the red buffer beam on it. But by all intents otherwise it's the same type of locomotive. 47569, however, one other little difference between this one and 712 is that the roof is actually a slightly different shade of grey. That roof looks more akin to that one than that one. Just look, so that's one noticeable difference. Otherwise, we're ready to run models. This locomotive was also bought on eBay, and it needed to be converted to DCC, and it's had that done. Scooney Hobbies at Kirkcaldy done that for me. The decoders are not sound decoders, and there's no lighting function on them because there were no lights installed on these machines. But that's not a great loss for me. It might be for some people. It's not something that actually tends to bother me much. I'm just quite happy with how the machines are right now. Later on, once we've got the track all done, we'll actually get these two on a brief test run for you, and I'll also show you how they compare to the Bachmann 47474. And what you've got to remember is, if you look at say 47346, which is a Bachmann model, and compare it to the 712 and 569, these locomotives, that is probably from 91-92 time, that is from 2018-2019 time. So you've got well over 25 years of technology difference between them when it comes to the tooling, etc. So do bear that in mind as well. But getting these two and getting that converted cost a less than one of the present Bachmann toolings. So if you're not bothered with all the detail, and I certainly am not, because I need the locomotives to have couplings at both ends, then perhaps going for the Lima conversion option may be your option. Two more shout outs to give you. Shrewford is based in Shrewsbury. It's a imitation of the famous Shrewsbury station, so go and check him out here on YouTube. Also check out on YouTube and Instagram Dudley Central, set in the West Midlands PTE Central era and area. And my mate Ryan Gray has a layout called Eden Road TMD. You'll find that on Twitter, and you'll also find photos of it on the Scottish Railway Modellers Facebook group. So check that out as well. Let's go and see how this stuff's drying. Here we go. I've had the J. Edgar out. That's what Delboy Trotter used to call his vacuum cleaner on Only Fools and Horses. And I've managed to get a lot of it hoovered up, as you can see. The cork actually isn't in too bad nick, so I think we'll get away with that. Still got some of this to go. And then I can get the thin ballast this into here. That can't be done until after I've got the walkway made over here. Oh, I know it's a confusing project, isn't it? How far that track will come down that first bit, I'm not sure yet, but I've got pins here to take out, so I think I'm actually going to be quite lucky here and get away with that. The cork, I'll find a use for that, don't you worry. I've got a couple of possible uses for that, which will maybe involve putting some up there and try and pin up signs. Speaking of signs, there's going to be another sign getting added in here soon somewhere, because this is actually now an official Wrangler layout. I think that may be the first model railway layout in the world that's an official Wrangler one. Visit the website wrangler.co.uk and just check it out. I've got some more to hoover up here, and I've got lots more to remove. And you wonder why engineering work sometimes can take so long on the real railway. Try it on your own layout and you'll get an understanding. Right, I better crack on. To hell with this. Better crack on and get more of it done. And then we'll get the track down and we'll have to test things. Now, I've just noticed something with this Pico track. There's nowhere to pin it down. There's no little holes. So I'm actually going to have to improvise and put a pin or two down in it. That's quite unfortunate, that, but we'll get there. Not to worry, we'll get there. Before I pin it down though, I'm going to run a locomotive just in here to make sure it doesn't derail on that bit up here, and I'll show you what the problem is in a minute. That's the Mark IV coaching stock, the longest on the layout, and if I just show you in comparison to the sleeper train, you could actually see that it's even longer than the sleeping car. So if that's fitting, then I think everything will fit in there, so that's pretty good. But I will, as I say, run the sleeper in here next now, make sure that's actually on right. I had damage done here to one of my signs, so I'll have to replace that at the end of the track works, not to worry. So you can see there, that's a little bit better. What I'll do is put that down there. I'm going to just uncouple 47628. I'll just place it there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just without using a loco. I'm just going to wheel that stock in. And we'll just see how it performs. And whilst I'm wheeling this round, take a look at Everard Junction, run by Richard Warren, set in the Network South East era. And also take a look at Dean Park Station by my good friend David Watson, set in the same era and region as mine. Well, I'm very happy with that. As you can see there is a little bit of clearance, and you can see when it's Mark II stock going in there. Now I'm going to have to try and work out a way to pin this track down, but I can't do that yet until I've tested a locomotive on this section, so that's going to be done off camera, and it won't be this locomotive, for the simple reason that 676 is not DCC fitted. It will be next year though. It will be next year. So there we go. We'll leave that there. And I'll just re-rail 47628. Make sure she's okay. Couple her up like that. That's fine. So off camera I'll run a loco in here just to see how it performs on this bit here. As you can see, that doesn't look quite right there. And if that is all okay, then we're good to go. If not, we'll have to have a look at something else. So if you bear me a few minutes. Well, off camera I had the problem in that the locomotive was derailing on here the first time, so I've sorted it. I'll let you just see. I've actually run a Mark II coach over that junction as well. Speeds into state dead-end terminals are usually quite slow anyway, so there is a bit of a bump there, but this is a critical point. I've actually run the Mark IV coach in here as well, and it does provide the adequate clearance. Now that track will be pinned down there. I'll have to cut some of that off to get the other bit in, and then I'll run the locomotive down there again. That's actually only going to be done after I've cleaned all this up, but that's going to be a job for the next day. You won't have to wait too long, you'll just have to wait a few seconds. One other thing I've done, you'll notice the locomotive was rubbing against that junction box. I've took that out, but that's not a great issue because, excuse me, this was all coming up anyway. So there'll have to be a bit of cork in there, and that'll obviously be coming up anyway, and there'll be new ballast getting put in there. That'll be coming up. So it wasn't a great issue there anyway. Right, cork in there, a little bit of cork to go round to hold that in place, and we'll get it pinned on. Now after a few attempts, I think I've now got the track sorted somehow. Because another problem was there was a little hump just here, and it was causing the locomotives to tilt and bend over and derail. So I'm hoping this time that I've actually got it right. And it's worked okay that way, but will it work okay this other way? I'll send her right down towards the bottom where the buffers would be. I'll just send it back up one more time, then I'll put the power off and pin everything down. I've left a little bit of a gap there, by the way. You see her going over there one more time. And although she wouldn't be approaching us at speed, yes, that's fine. I'll just switch the power off now. So I'll get it pinned down again there, here, A couple of points I need to pin it down. I'll do an expansion joint in the hot weather, I think, maybe. I'll get it pinned down and we'll test it again, and then we'll get everything ready for ballasting. One thing I will point out is that things have moved about a little bit, you could see, but hey ho. Now, just before we go and give her another test, I just want to give a couple of shout outs. Network South Latchmere, you'll find him on Twitter, give him a follow. And the Network South East Railway Society is on Facebook and Twitter, and their website www.nsers.org. Now, I've tested this off camera again, and I always like to test things off camera before testing them on camera, especially if there turns out to be a problem. There wasn't in this case, but there's one proof of the pudding. Now I'm going to move the sleeper coach there. That's not a sleeper coach, that's a Mark IV coach. You know what I meant. Right, I'm happy with that, but I'm just going to show you in here. We'll do this. You can just see how close these are to the platforms now. However, I am absolutely pleased with that. So what we'll do now is, obviously 47535 was on that train, so I'll run her back onto that. I'll get the buffer stop put back in now. And I'll get the one for the other platform put in too. Get that back in, and I'll also get, here we go, and also get the lights put back in. And then the next task I'll have, buffer stop I think was actually there, jings, is we'll get on with the ballasting. So there we go. I'll get the lights put in a few minutes for that. I just wonder if I could move that buffer stop back a bit. Probably. There we go. I'll get the lights, I'll turn off the power, get the lights back in their place, and then what we'll do, we'll get started with getting the track ballasted, and we'll also get a bit more of this made up. Hopefully I'll have enough to go over the tracks to there, and then after that we'll get this bit here excuse me, ballasted, and then we'll get the sign fixed and put back into position. And here's an example of why I've chosen now rather than October to glue the ballast in. Look how sunny it is out there. It's quite warm. That'll help dry this all in very quickly. So I've went round and I've put down ballast very carefully. There's one or two bits that I'm just not quite happy with that I'm just going to fill up there. There we go. And I've run a Mark II BSO up and down this a couple of times just to make sure everything was fine before I went and started gluing it down. I don't have a dropper, so I'll be using a syringe that I got from Boots the Chemist with my PVA water mix. And I'll do this first bit here, see how it's going on. And then I'll move on a little bit further. I might actually get this next bit started as well. When you're gluing ballast down, two important points. Number one, always keep the power off. Two, don't fiddle about with it. Once you've got it in, leave it and let it dry. Don't start fiddling about with it or running trains in it while it's still drying. I'll go and crack on with this first bit here, and then I'll let you see how it's progressed. Okay, well that's it starting to dry in right now, as you could see there. And I've done up to here. I'm also going to be doing this bit here, you see, next to the wall. That's going to be the first bit of that wall getting done up. To see, a lot of this I'll have to come out to get the wall in, and then I'll have to reinstall the ballast. So I'm going to be carrying it up here, and that's the spare BS I'm using to check the track. Now when I get up to this point I'll have to stop, because I'm going to have to make my walkway over here and up here. And then we can start looking again at installing some more ballast, and it'll be this small stuff that you see here around the signals that'll be getting installed instead in this bit here. But the walkway is going to have to come all the way up there as well, I think, because I've made the walkway on there, you see that there? So that's going to be the next plan. But once I get this bit ballasted, I'm going to obviously reinstate the sign in there as well. So I'll crack on and finish that, and we'll see where we're up to. Whilst I'm here, give a shout out to a non-railway YouTube channel, Ryan Swain. If you give him a check out, please. Absolutely lovely chap Ryan is, and I'll put the link to his channel in the description below. And we'll also give a shout out to the Class 47 website, www.class47.co.uk. Give them a check out as well. And there's also Double O Neil, if you give him a check out here on YouTube. Double O Neil. Right, I'm going to crack on and get up to this point done here, and we'll have a look at it from there on in. Okay, so what I've done here is I've made the rest of this walkway. I've now run out of bits for it. One bit actually snaffled from this section here, so I'll have to make a new, order some more to make a new section there. But what I've done is I've made the complete walkway here and along here. I'll need to make little bits for here. That'll come eventually. Now I've UHU glue on the base of that to stick it down, and obviously I'll have to let that dry. And once it dries, I'll then get the bits of ballast in here and here, finish right up to here and here. And we'll carry on just beyond to here, because obviously this bit's going to get redone. I've also got little beware of train signs, I see that one there, so I've also got to put them into there. They'll get attached. I'll probably maybe put them on at the end of the platform just there. Now that is already drying, but I'm not going to be running anything over that for a couple of days, so that'll give me a chance to let that glue dry and then get that ballast down there. And while we're going to be doing that, I'm going to be talking about another arrival that I've recently put on the layout. And there's also a coaching stock arrival that's on the layout. It explains why this is spare, and you may have seen this on here. So I'll explain all that to you, but first of all, I'll get all the ballast in, the extra fine ballast in here, and get it up and just beyond, and I'll show you what it's like. Alright, there we go. So that's the glue drying on this bit here now with the small ballast down, and I've put a bit more of the track ballast up onto here. There's still some glue clumps, so we'll have to leave that till it's dry and then remove those clumps. That could take a couple of days at least anyway. I've got here 47712 Lady Diana Spencer, and I've run her up the platform. We'll run her, that's going to have to get glued back in. We'll run her back down the platform. And I must say I'm very happy with that. So I've already tested it off camera, the track, and it's all working fine. There is enough clearance there for the sleeper to come in and still have something platform number 4. So it was quite a bit of effort, but it was worth it in the end, as they would say. One thing that I will have to do as well is get another of these signs put onto here, so I'm going to be doing that off camera. However, the next thing we're going to do is start doing this next bit of cable trunking here, which will also allow me to put ballast in the background here. That means that the cable trunking will still come up to around about here, and then it will continue there. We'll be finishing off the cable trunking by around here, but this bit, as I say, is going to get done up in a later edition when we're going to put a signal gantry over here. I'm using a kit from Scale Model Scenery for that. I haven't ordered it yet, but that's going to be a job for another time. And the cable trunking will just be similar to what we've already got here. It's the SMS stuff. So I'm going to get that and start to install that. And then once it's in position and dry, we'll get some ballast in the background. And you'll notice I've covered over that little hole there. So all being well, the ballast it'll have to come up to around about the wall anyway. So all being well, we'll actually have a completed scene there. Whilst I'm on the got my memory fresh, give a check out on YouTube to a mate of mine, Liam Mulpetri, who's a busking metal guitarist from Tyneside. So I'll put the link to his YouTube channel in the description below, and also give a check out to Cinemas Lost Forever, I believe it's called, which is also on Facebook, and it's a group run by a gentleman called Neil that looks at cinemas that have long gone and been demolished. Cinemas are actually quite a thing that are on certain model railway layouts, and if you watch his videos you maybe get an idea of frontages for cinemas that you can put on your layout as well. And I hope Neil doesn't mind me saying this, he looks like Tony Blackburn actually. Anyway, I'll get this cable trunking installed here while that's drying. Alright, there we go. So that's the glue drying on this bit here now with the small ballast down, and I've put a bit more of the track ballast up onto here. There's still some glue clumps, so we'll have to leave that till it's dry and then remove those clumps. That could take a couple of days at least anyway. I've got here 47712 Lady Diana Spencer, and I've run her up the platform. We'll run her... That's going to have to get glued back in. We'll run her back down the platform. And I must say I'm very happy with that. So I've already tested it off camera, the track, and it's all working fine. There is enough clearance there for the sleeper to come in and still have something platform number 4. So it was quite a bit of effort, but it was worth it in the end, as they would say. One thing that I will have to do as well is get another of these signs put onto here, so I'm going to be doing that off camera. However, the next thing we're going to do is start doing this next bit of cable trunking here, which will also allow me to put ballast in the background here. That means that the cable trunking will still come up to around about here, and then it will continue there. We'll be finishing off the cable trunking by around here, but this bit, as I say, is going to get done up in a later edition when we're going to put a signal gantry over here. I'm using a kit from Scale Model Scenery for that. I haven't ordered it yet, but that's going to be a job for another time. And the cable trunking will just be similar to what we've already got here. It's the SMS stuff. So I'm going to get that and start to install that. And then once it's in position and dry, we'll get some ballast in the background. And you'll notice I've covered over that little hole there. So all being well, the ballast it'll have to come up to around about the wall anyway. So all being well, we'll actually have a completed scene there. Whilst I'm on the got my memory fresh, give a check out on YouTube to a mate of mine, Liam Mulpetri, who's a busking metal guitarist from Tyneside. So I'll put the link to his YouTube channel in the description below, and also give a check out to Cinemas Lost Forever, I believe it's called, which is also on Facebook, and it's a group run by a gentleman called Neil that looks at cinemas that have long gone and been demolished. Cinemas are actually quite a thing that are on certain model railway layouts, and if you watch his videos you maybe get an idea of frontages for cinemas that you can put on your layout as well. And I hope Neil doesn't mind me saying this, he looks like Tony Blackburn actually. Anyway, I'll get this cable trunking installed here while that's drying. Well, we're nearly coming up to the end of the August update, but I'll show you what we've done as we're moving on a bit. That's some more of the cable trunking installed here. And down here, when I was removing the old cable trunking, there was a little box here and it sat on legs and it broke, unfortunately, so I've snaffled one from there, and what I'll do is I'll fill that gap in up there actually with some small fine ballast. So what I'll then do is I'll get the ballast spread and done on here, and get the ballast shoulder to probably about here, and likewise there. I've got some cable trunk I'm going to just install in there, and I've got a bit left that I'll be able to start putting it up to here, which will then leave me with the excuse me, there's just this bit here to do, and I've also got this bit for which we'll need actual other cable trunking. So that's what's going to be happening. I can't, or rather I'm not going to put ground cover all the way in here, because Scale Model Scenery make a gantry type kit, and I'm going to use that as a signal gantry for platforms 4 and 5. Obviously not for platform 6, because the locomotive will, at the very most, will just be sitting about here, so there's no need for it. Sorry, just here, so there's no need for it at platform 6, but we need for 4 and 5, because obviously there's not enough clearance unless I was to put the thing there, which clearly isn't going to work, so it'll have to be a gantry over those 3 platforms. So we're near, so as I say, we're nearing the end of this update, the August update, and I'll get on and put the cable trunking in there, and then I'll put the ballast down, let it glue down, and then I'll be able to get this bit done in here, and we should then be finished this update. Right, here we go then. Well, I've got this area all covered up. I've not done these bits here because obviously the gantry is going to be here, and I don't know where it's going to be on this side or this side yet, so that'll not get done until the gantry is built. But we've got the ballast in here, and this is all got to just get glued down. I'll put ballast at the back here now, and we've got the cable trunking on here, and I've got a little bit of ballast there to glue down, so I'll get that done. Once that's all done, and I've run a test train over it, what I'll then do is we'll actually do a little running session to finish this video off, showing you stock coming into this platform and then a locomotive backing onto it, and we'll run the sleeper train in here as well, and we'll get the shunter backed up onto it, just to show you that everything is hopefully working. And then that will be it as far as this video is concerned. Now I'm going to glue all this down from the top, and that'll take a couple of days to dry. I'll come back to it in a few days, but you'll just have to wait a few seconds to see the finished result. One thing I will point out to you is it may be tempting to run trains whilst you've got the ballast drying. Don't do that, as I've already emphasised, and I'll emphasise it again. Do not attempt that. Don't run anything, don't have the power on until the ballast is fully dried. So I'm going to go and do that now, get the ballast glued down, leave it for a few days. You're going to wait a few seconds, and then you'll see the end result from it. Right, so as we just brought in 47701 there, and 47712 you see is trapped there at the buffers, we've also got 47628 here, and I've brought that round off camera with the sleeper train. Now the sleeper train is the one that had the trouble. This is the Mark III sleeper coach, the Lima one, which used to rub against the stock. Now I've done a test off camera, and I'm now hoping that on camera this is going to work. I have had to give the track a quick clean, so I will apologise though if the shunter does stop and start, but I just want to make sure that the sleeper coach Goes past 47701, no problem. So let's see if we can... Normally it would help if you actually coupled the locomotive up. Right, I think we're there this time. Right, take two. No, still not there. Right, there we go. I've done it this time. Right, here we go. I'm going to say it's the sleeper coach we're really looking for, so you'd see the trouble with it. I'm just going to stop it there because that's actually just proved to you that the effort to move the track was worth it in the end. And you'll also see here that we've got the ballast laid down here, and this is all now dried up. Nothing's going to get done here until I've got the new signal gantries down, and more about that in a minute or two. What we'll do is we'll just shunt the sleeper stock back in, and then we'll get 47628 coupled onto it. Assuming that this is actually going to work right. Whilst we've got this shunting in, still lacking a bit of power. I tell you what I'm going to do, I'm maybe going to have to clean the track and do this off camera. Yeah, do that off camera. What we're going to talk about briefly is the signal gantry. I mentioned that there to you because we've obviously got here signal posts, but I can't put a signal here for obvious clearance reasons. So what I've come up with is I found a company down in Ripon who are on eBay, and I'm waiting to hear back from them, and there's a possibility I might be buying two of their 3-track signal gantries, one which will go over here and one which will go over there. Now the thing about these signal gantries, and I shall get the steel rule because this is very important. Now while there's steel rule, is that the distance has got to be over 20 centimetres, and you could see there, I think we're going to comfortably make that. And that's good. And the distance there, signals would probably have to sit about here. Might not be the same there, but I'll definitely get a gantry for here. That's going to be something though that'll be at a later date, and when the company does get back to me with some, because I did ask them some questions about this. So you may actually see the, oh, I've got a wee derailment now. You may actually see the signal gantry getting built in the October update. And there's still some work I really need to do when it comes to shunting, isn't there? I'll keep filming it anyway so you can see the cock-ups happening. One thing I will point out as well is that it does allow the term operational flexibility now, because I can have something at last in platform 4 and the sleeper train coming into platform 5, no bother whatsoever. So this whole bit is nearly done. Ballast is all dried there, and it's been done here as well, so really happy with all of that. Cable trunking in place, everything laid down and pretty much all ready. And if I just turn the camera there, I've even got that sign there. There'll be a double-sided sign put in here once this bit gets done. So that marks the end of video 99. Just want to also say I've got my sign up saying that I'm a proud partner of Wrangler. As you know that I'm an ambassador for the brand, so there we go. As I say, that marks the end of video number 99. So what of video 100? What's going to happen to that? Well, like how the heavy metal band The Hara has been keeping people in a mystery recently about their new album, So I'm going to keep you in a mystery about what's going to happen for video 100. You will find out in due course, because you'll actually get to see it next month. What I will say to you is, I'm taking a breather. That's what's going to be happening in video 100. I'm going to be taking a little breather. One person on the Scottish Railway Modelers Facebook group does in fact know what I'm doing, what my plan is for video 100, and if somebody else who was there that same time when I mentioned it was listening, then they would know as well what was all up, what was happening. But that's the only clue I'm going to give you, folks. I'm going to be taking a little rest in the next video. But perhaps what's actually happening right now might be a clue to what's going to be happening for the next video. Yeah, hope you're enjoying all of this. There we go. Hope you've enjoyed that little bit at the end there. That might be a clue as to what you're going to see in video 100. Anyway, whatever you're doing over the next few weeks, please do take care of yourselves. Enjoy your layouts, look after yourselves. And we'll see you soon back at Clydebridge for video 100. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and goodbye for now.